Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast, and good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, right? Is that the right day now?
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Happy Wednesday.
It
Can't keep track of it all. Cubs win 5-1. If you went to bed early, the Cubs didn't blow the big lead this time. I thought they might. I got a little nervous after one run. Just one run scared me after blowing an 8-0 lead to start the series against the Padres, but they beat the Padres 5-1 this time. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo, Ryan Herrera. The live YouTube chat is buzzing already. They've been waiting for us early in the morning here. And for those of you that will listen to this in podcast form, make sure you go and give us all the positive reviews, the likes, the thumbs ups, all that good stuff, and subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube page. Shout out to all the new diehards, Nicholas, Ed, Michael, Chris, Vince, and Anthony. And shout out to Ben Brown, the rookie, his first major league start. It was pretty good in a good moment for the Cubs, right? Because after what we saw the bullpen doing in the first one of the series, this was really important, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just start with the fact that last night I said I didn't feel good going into this game because you didn't know what you're going to get out of Ben Brown. Like, this is the best lineup. Well, it's arguably the best lineup. I mean, the Rangers, but it was a major league debut. He came out of the bullpen. Like, he started this game, first career start going up against a Padres lineup that has Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Manny Machado in it. Jake Cronenworth, who's having a hot start to the year. I didn't know what to expect, and he came out there, and I'll give him a lot of credit. The defense showed up tonight. The defense has to play like it did tonight almost every night. Like that Bellinger throwing the guy out in the first inning, Nico, the jump catch, Bush with a hell of a pick on the bad throw from Dansby late in the game. Ben Brown wasn't in for that one, but either way, like, the defense was great behind him. Yeah, Morel with the tag on the throw from Bellinger. I mean, the defense certainly helped him some, but he made some guys look really silly out there too. The strikeouts were fun to watch, and this is a confidence builder for him, man. And this is the first little stretch for him, proving that even when Tyone comes back, he deserves to be here. And with the bullpen being as shaky as it is right now, maybe that's where he goes, and he can be one of those high leverage guys. But overall, again, didn't feel great with him coming in here tonight since we didn't really know what we would get. But he's certainly making me feel a little bit more confident in him going forward. That's for sure. So I asked for 4 innings. He gave me 4 2/3, and people wanted him to go 5, but the pitch count hit where it did. So in some ways, he was just like, all right, Cody, hold my beer. And then he went and did it. So all agree with him, man. He was great.
Yeah, you mentioned the Bellinger throw and like the Morel tag. Like, I thought was an underrated part of it, just the concentration, that ball and Bogaerts like converging nearly at the same time, like just to concentrate it and get the tag on there. Not as easy as he made it look. I thought that was an underrated part of that play, but that, I think, overall, you're talking about the first inning, Ben Brown making his first MLB start, right? It's not his debut, but he's making his first start against a really good lineup. And if that play is not made, you have guy on third with 1 out. It's as far as helping him settle into the game. I thought that was a huge play. Obviously, it was a huge play, but just from the sense of helping that guy settle into the game, guy making his first start, that's the kind of backup you need if you're Ben Brown, and just in general, it's the kind of backup you need from your defense. But yeah, Ben Brown looked really good. 4 2/3, right? Like, I was fine with pulling him at that point. Get the matchup right, and or lefty on lefty, and then he's at 77 pitches. I know he's not completely stretched out, so you're hoping he can give you a little bit more length from, like, going forward. But made sense to go to the bullpen at that point, considering you had one of your longer relievers rested in Drew Smyly. But yeah, I mean, like, you're talking about a guy with like a 90 sitting 96.5 miles per hour with the fastball, reaching 98 or above 98, and then you got the knuckle curve, which got 5 whiffs on 14 swings today. There was obviously some points where Brown, the count wasn't in his favor. Like he let counts run a little too deep at some points, but overall it was a really good outing from Brown. First MLB start. Cubs need something good from him especially coming off last night's game. And he delivers. I thought it was a very good sign. And like Cody said, like if he keeps pitching like this, even when Ty Young comes back, he's making a case that even if it's a rotation or in the bullpen, like he's definitely making the case with a night like this, and more nights like this are for sure needed. But making a case that he could stay up here and actually contribute to the roster.
I'd be shocked if they sent him back down after the way I've seen. Because again, I've always said that like I would throw out the major league debut, even though half of it was really good. But guys, major league debut is different. What we've seen from him since Marquis had the stat since that debut, 8 2/3, 1 earned run, 10 strikeouts. It's been pretty impressive. Cody's ready with the Blue Moon beer bat chug, the dedication. It's a little harder to time this.
I poured it out of my CHGO Cubs glass.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I see Fernando.
You can buy the glass on our store. Yeah.
Fernando is dogging us. He says, we're phoning it in. Must be nice not to have to go to the office to work. I'm just saying, we left the office at 1 a.m. last night, Fernando, and it's 12 a.m. now. We'll be at the office at 1 a.m. tomorrow night.
Also,
you just lost a star. You're 5 stars down to 4, Fernando.
We didn't ask to be remote.
No, we didn't.
Tonight.
We were told.
The boss was just like, do the show remote tonight.
That's right. Fernando lost a star. That's the way it goes. We subtract a star.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sunday, I don't know if you guys watched, but I hit 10.06.
So everyone under 12 seconds so far this season.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I got to get my stop.
We got to do this in less than
goodness.
9 minutes after that guy on Twitter said
Joe.
In 9
I've got to
minutes.
be able to see Cody's beer up close. That's what I want to see up close, Joe.
Joey does have the stopwatch, but he's struggling. He's struggling.
Joe,
I think he got rid of it because Luke wants to be able to see it. So.
I'll be able to see. I got my stopwatch right here. I got it right here. See that? Right there. Although my phone does say it's going to do an update any second. So,
Good.
All right. Make your dedication, Cody. Let's go.
This one goes out to Christopher Morel because he hit that grand slam and it was majestic. And also he was great defensively tonight. He did not make any errors. Credit to me for taking him for who you got. All right. We ready?
Here goes
I
Cody.
also have my stopwatch out.
Beer bat chug. When it hits his lips, and I'm starting right now. Here's Cody. He's going through the halfway. I saw somebody on Twitter complaining about the beer bat chug today, but then again, there's an account dedicated just to beer bat chugs, and Cody flying through that one. I've got 989.
Yeah, I was like 10.02, so right around there.
Like another 10 seconds.
This one didn't have any foam. This one didn't have any foam. I let it sit out. I poured it earlier.
Oh,
you know what that is? Home field advantage, Ryan. Home field advantage.
Home field advantage. But yeah. Maybe that's what I see. I don't do it at the office. I feel like I'm jinxing it, and I probably would have.
Technically, that could have been apple juice, and nobody would know. Could have.
Yeah.
It's not, but
colored water.
No, I could tell that was Blue Moon. I could smell it right through the StreamYard. Anyway, very impressive. Very impressive, Cody.
Hopefully, that was under 9 minutes.
I would hope you're right. Oh, yeah. 9 minutes.
Hopefully the segment was under 9 minutes.
Under 9 minutes, yeah.
If the guy, I don't know if he listens to us or if he listens to Corey or Brennan, but I'm just giving him a hard time because I just didn't understand the tweet to begin with. And for anyone who doesn't understand, just go look at Luke or I's Twitter because the guy he added me and Luke and said that we take too long doing the beer back segment. And I counted on Sunday. I went and looked it up myself. It was literally 4 minutes. It's like 4 minutes out of an hour.
4 minutes too long. 4 minutes too long.
Yeah, we don't tell anybody how to cub, but I will tell you, if you don't like it, just don't watch it.
No. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It seems like most people really like it. So I'm not trying to dog the guy too much, but it's just kind of like.
Speaking of not watching, I didn't realize there was a second broadcast. I just watched the Marquee one.
Mm-hmm.
No, Bob Costas was calling him Christopher Morel.
Yeah,
really.
I saw that. I saw Matt Clapp, who I know has been on the show with Corey and Brendan before. So
how at this point could they call? I mean, like, there's no research beforehand. Christopher Morel, and then I heard it was ALLCITY he was throwing
And there's
around.
Bob
too.
Costas too.
I know the guy's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe give him a pass on
Christopher
that
Morel.
one.
Well, Ron
Maybe-
Darling was a great pitcher, but
Maybe give Costas a pass on that one.
I'm gonna give
He's
Bob.
earned the pass.
Well, you know why? It's late. It's late for
Yeah.
Bob too. I understand.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, he's
Of
getting
all the
married.
games to be on national television on a Tuesday night,
Right.
right?
Oh, we got John saying, first time watching live, super fan of the podcast and new subscriber. Let's go Cubs. Well done repping EIU too, Cody.
Hell yeah, John.
1995 alum of Eastern Illinois.
Harvard of the Midwest, brother. Let's go, man. Let's go.
All right, so we're going to talk more about the Cubs' big 5-1 win over the Padres. Well, if they hadn't blown the 8-0 lead yesterday, you'd be looking at this and saying they'd rolled right in from that Dodgers series, then started rolling. They should have had 2 wins now against the Padres, but whatever. Win number 7 of the season. Severius says, I saw Quas warming up in the 9th. Yeah.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And passed out. Couldn't see anymore after that. $1.99. Cody, tell us about our friends at Circa real quick.
Oh, Circa. There's 3 things I love about Circa. And I had a great time with them when they the start of March Madness. Their sportsbook out in Waukegan is great. Their sportsbook in Vegas is great. On top of everything that's out of Vegas, it's great. But in terms of their sportsbook, their tight money line splits are something that they really brag about. The games strive to be a -110 split on the Circa Sports menu, unlike other sportsbooks which may use a -115 or -120 split. Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to other books. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. They encourage bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available. Compare the lines from each sports book. And then, like I always say, chatbots are the absolute worst. That's something that Circa doesn't do. They have actual people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chatbots. All aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events like Friday 120 Club, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, text GMB to 833-234, or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Guys, some beers say they're brewed for baseball, but only Blue Moon is brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball just go together, and no beer goes better than the one that was literally born in a ballpark. Blue Moon was created at Coors Field in Denver. It's the natural choice for opening week and the first month of the season, all season long. I dream about the days where I can sit with a Blue Moon and an orange and a nice fresh barbecue chicken sitting on my plate, or maybe a nice brisket that's been smoking for a while, or maybe one of our great Chicago pizzas, Salerno's, if you will, with my Blue Moon, of course. Nothing beats watching baseball or lounging by the pool with an ice cold Blue Moon. Brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. A beer this good only comes around once in a Blue Moon, but you can enjoy it, of course, all season long and right into the playoffs. Bring that ballpark to you with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Nothing goes better. You said beer, baseball, but also beer bets.
Beer bet.
Blue Moon, baseball, and beer bets all go together.
Especially when they're under 12 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Beer bet
consistently breaking career highs or career lows.
Before we get to some of the other stars of the night, I do have a question about Morel. Like, I think it was JD mentioned him. Maybe it was Boog, and I didn't hear the answer. I was walking out of the room. They were talking about, I believe, a conversation they had with Jed Hoyer where they said, what early season trends were 11 games into the season now today. and they're saying yesterday or the day before when they talked to Jed Hoyer, what early season trends do you believe? So I'm asking you, what early season trend do you believe the most so far this season from the Cubs?
For me,
Yeah, like is it Morel? Is it Morel laying off?
Are we talking about a particular
zone as
player?
much?
Are we talking about a team thing or what?
I think like a player thing.
Player.
Like for instance, the trend I saw, bad defense yesterday. I don't believe that's going to be a problem. Will Morel be able to not chase the ball as much this season? Has he made that improvement? I'll say this: if he has, look out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm buying on Morel's improvement at the plate in terms of his approach. Someone in the chat just said, that they smelled that tater coming a mile away in that third at bat, because he had 2 really good at bats against Musgrove, and that's why they brought Kolek in to face Morel. Kolek comes in and he's just throwing meatball breaking balls over the plate. And I tweeted from CHGO Cubs account, when I tweeted the video of him hitting the homer, that he's slugging 650 against breaking balls this season. And like, that was just a hanger. Like, that was a bad pitch, but like, he's been hitting breaking balls to start the season really well. And like, that's why like the narrative about how he was just like Javi Baez last year annoyed me, because I don't think he's anywhere close to Javi Baez, and he's proving that to start this year. In terms of the strikeout rate last year, sure, but he certainly, even last year, he still walked plenty. That was something that Javi never did at all. So I thought that the approach was at least considerably better than Javi Baez's ever was last year. And now you got a guy who has cut down, like his chase outside the zone rates are significantly down compared to recent years. And the thing is, at the same time, that he's still swinging at around the same amount. So he's just seeing the ball really well. He knows the strike zone at, one might say, at an elite level, because if this keeps up, he is going to not only find himself on the All-Star team, but perhaps, again, if he keeps this up, perhaps in the MVP race, because the offense alone. What? This isn't some crazy take
today.
He's like the best offensive player on this team right now.
He's been very good.
He's been great. It's insane what he's doing, man. Like, do I buy that it's going to stay at this level in terms of like the overall production all season? No, because guys go through slumps and stuff. Yeah. But he can certainly be an all-star if he plays anything like this the rest of the season. If he's consistent like this all season, then yeah, he'll find himself in the MVP race. But so I'm just saying, like, if it's like this all year, then he could be. But obviously, the defense has got to be there for him to actually really be considered for that. But as far as an offensive hitter, man, like, this guy is at least putting himself in the conversation for a silver slugger, no doubt, right? Like, it's a development that we all believed that could happen. We all genuinely believed it. We just needed to see it, because we've seen the ups and we've seen the downs. When the downs last year, especially in like August of 2023, go on Fangraphs, bring up the game logs, and just do the month of August, and then look at September. And even though the Cubs were terrible in September, Christopher Morel wasn't terrible in September. The guy has shown the ability to adjust whenever the league figures him out. And that's, to me, that's what's been the most impressive thing about him his first 2 years. And now this year, he's just kind of exploding. He's taken off. And I don't think I'm crazy to say what I just said. Like, if it keeps up, like, it's been that great.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's like a if it keeps up situation, right? Because you have seen him go through the highs and lows the first couple of years. It's not like guaranteed, but it's obviously, I mean, Brendan is in the chat. It is like 50 plate appearances, just about, I think. But yeah, I mean, listening to Craig Counsell talk about him this last week at home, and how impressed he is with like the chase and doing a good job of managing chase, which we know is something that contributed to like high strikeout rates the last couple of years, right? I'm talking to Dustin Kelly over the weekend, Cubs hitting coach, and he's really, one thing he points out is that like Morel, obviously the eye looks a lot better. He's honed in a little bit of the chase, but that he's really one of the big things is he's getting himself into really good counts. He's putting himself in better counts. And even though guys are still attacking him, this is from Dustin Kelly, right? Like guys are still attacking him very similar way to last year, but that he's locked in and dialed in on his approach, and like he's keeping his sights set on a certain zone, certain area, and he's sticking to that. And he's spinning on bad pitches. Like today, Cody mentioned the home run at bat, right? He works a 2-0 count right away and then gets a slider right down the heart of the plate. But he instead of chasing 2 pitches outside the zone, he lays off them and works himself with a really good count. And go to the walk, right? The walk that he took at 7th inning or whatever inning it was. He starts off with an 0-1 count. Next pitch is a slider away, right? And Cody mentions the Javi comparisons that some people were giving to him. Javi probably swings at that one, but Morel lays off it. It's low and away. Morel lays off it instead of going into an 0-2 count. He's worked himself into a 1-1 count. Obviously, a better hitter's count, and is able to work that walk. So it's like subtle things like that that we're obviously seeing. The hitting coaches, the coaching staff in general, is all seeing that he's still. I've mentioned it before, where like Craig Counsell called it like controlled aggression, where he is obviously still aggressive at pitches in the zone and pitches that he could do damage on. He's aggressive with them, but that he is also he's dialed back some of the chase and the eye looks better. The approach overall looks better. He's willing to work into deep counts. Like that's all been just a awesome sign to see from him this season, offensively. I mean, we talk about a guy that struck out over 30% in each of the last 2 seasons. This year, he's got a 6.5% walk rate, which I know is not like crazy high, but for a guy that had a lot of strikeout in the past, the 10.9% strikeout rate in comparison to that walk rate, like that's really good from him right now. So it is, like I said, it is a kind of wait and see. It's something worth monitoring, right? Like not anointing him as like, I know Cody, I'm not calling you crazy, but like I'm not anointing him as the MVP right now, or saying like I don't think you're saying that either. But like it is worth monitoring, because if he can continue to put up numbers like this, or even something close to it, right? Like he's got a 161 WRC plus right now. That's probably not sustainable. The strikeout rate probably will go up, right? But if he can continue to put up really, really good numbers on a team, and play good defense, if he can get there on a team that's, as long as they're winning ball games, like, yeah, you could actually see that. Like, I don't think that's like a insane scenario to actually talk about. It's early in the season, but it's just really good signs from him. So that is definitely something that I think we should all be monitoring going forward, because it's just that like he's had a really, really good start on things that didn't look as good the last 2 seasons.
I wasn't going to monitor it until the pitch doctor told me to monitor it. And then I said, okay, the pitch doctor is now the hit doctor. Now, were you at the game today?
He was at the game yesterday.
Well, I know that because I'm blaming him for the 8-0 loss, 8-run lead and then losing the game. That he's being blamed for that because he was in person for it. But now the pitch doctor, if he was there today, he earns a little credit back. I would like a graph before the end of the show so we could see like where Morel is swinging at the most of his pitches. So if you could work on that before the end of the show, I know it's early in California. Okay, but listen, the Morel thing, no, you're not crazy to say if he continued this, he'd be an MVP. Well, yeah, I would agree, because he'd be off the charts. But I also don't want to go too far the other way, because we are 11 games into the season. But there's a lot of things that are positive. Haps on base streak that's going on, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Morel's one. Seya's the other one. To me, if I had to guess right now which one's the most likely to continue at its current pace, I almost would say Seya. I believe that Seya is going to be this guy all season if he's healthy. Not that I don't believe Morel can, but Morel's We'll see. We'll see. It's 11 games. I believe. What did we all pick? We all said he was going to hit over 30 homers.
Yeah.
So I know the power's there, but
I do believe that Seya,
I think he's figured it out.
I think Seya's ceiling is higher as just an overall player.
His consistency,
yeah, but
is more likely, I think.
But like we talked about all offseason, like Seya, Morel, and then if Bush can just be like a 2 to 3 win player, this team can be something. And so far, those 3 things have happened.
Yep.
I know Bush didn't do much tonight, but like those 2 guys, Seya and Morel, like they're a big reason why they won tonight. Seya 3 hits. He started the rally after Yan Gomes hit that homer to give them the lead to begin with. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, I feel like we should all feel like kind of like we should be beating our chests on this because we all believe that Seya could do this, and we believe that Morel could do this too. So like, I don't think and I know you guys aren't saying that I am, but like anyone who thinks we're crazy for thinking like this, it's just because we believe that they had another level that they could evolve into players, Say it was all about consistency.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it this year so far. And Morel was all about cutting down the strikeouts and, just, I think that for me, that was mainly it, cutting down the strikeouts and then, using that raw power to become some really good baseball player, all-star caliber type player, right? And obviously defense is a big part of his game too that hopefully evolves along the way. But as far as the bat, it's definitely taken a bigger step than even last year. And last year, like I don't know how many times I got to say it, like he did what he did last year in less games than he did in the year before. So like it's, he's always been a guy that I felt like had that ability. And it's what's crazy. And, we last night we're talking about this team not being able, or this organization's lack of developing. Last night we're talking about pitching, so this is a little bit different. But the lack of developing players, especially during the golden era stuff, like this guy wasn't some highly touted prospect. This guy is looking like he's just kind of the diamond in the rough that the Cubs found, and they have, kind of rode along and. They called him up originally just because they needed a guy that could play multiple positions. Yep. And
on your birthday.
Right. Yeah. On my birthday.
That's right. It was the greatest birthday present you've ever received.
Right. So again, I know I'm kind of yapping now, as a lot of people like to tell me that I do too much, but his growth from the moment he made his major league debut has been something very fun to watch. And just from year 1 to year 2, the steps he took was impressive. Now, this year, again, 11 games in the year, so you can't buy into it too much. But the step from year 2 to year 3 so far is on another level, like I said, and like how Brendan basically said that I was saying. So I feel justified in believing in what I believed to this point.
Yeah.
Well, I also agree with Michael in the chat who says it's not like Morel's getting lucky with close strike calls either. He's legitimately making great swing choices and takes. I agree with it. I think it's pretty obvious to see that he's consciously taking a different approach at the plate. Like he's worked on some stuff. And again, it's only 11 games, and I'm not going to freak out about it. But as Cody said, we talked about multiple things over the offseason, whether it was Seya or Morel or whoever you want to talk about. And it was because you could see that potential was there, and it wasn't far-fetched to say, this guy could do this season. We've seen steady progress. Mm-hmm. We've seen the right steps, and it wouldn't be crazy if the switch was flipped in 2024. And so far, early in the season, knock on wood, both guys have flipped the switch. And it would be huge for this offense if it continues.
Yeah, and talking about the offense as a whole, right? Like we're focusing on Morel's obviously better plate approach, and Seya's having a really good year. But like the offense as a whole has been like we're seeing it right in the results. Like they're one of the best run scoring run scoring teams in the big leagues right now. Like, I don't remember exactly what it's at right now per game, but it's pretty high up there with some of the better offenses in the league. But like, the strikeout rate right now in baseball is 22.6%. You got a few regulars above that, but none of them, like as far as regulars go, Michael Busch, 27.5% is the highest. So like not drastically high, right? You got Dansby's a percent or two above, Seya's a little bit above, and Ian Happ's right at that level. But like a lot of those other guys are right below. But then you're looking at the walk rate, and the league average is 9%, and every regular except for Morel and then like Amaya and Gomes, you can bunch them together as catchers. Everyone else is above that league average in walk rate. So like when Craig Counsell talks about like the whole lineup, putting together great at bats, like seeing pitches, working deep in counts, like all that kind of stuff, like that's real right now. And of course it's April 10th now. It's April 10th because it's Wednesday morning, but that has to continue, of course. But right now, what you're seeing is just consistently good at bats and good plate approaches from throughout the lineup from all the regulars. Right? You're talking about a team, and I think we can still say this team doesn't have like otherworldly power. Like Morel could probably hit 35, 40 home runs, right? Like the kind of power that he has. Seya and Bellinger and some other guys can push to 25 plus. But it doesn't have like otherworldly power up and down the lineup. So when you don't have that, it's all about, can you consistently string together good at bats? Can you consistently string together guys with good plate approaches? And they're doing that. And that's why this offense is humming seemingly every game. But like it's just why it's what you needed to see out of this team this season offensively, because again, like they don't have consistent, like they don't have sluggers throughout the lineup, but they have guys that can put together really good plate appearances every single time they step to the plate. And that's so far the first 11 games now. The first 11 games, like that's as good a sign as any that and this is what I said the other day, like the offense that we saw last year as far as runs scored, on base percentage, and I said the other day that I think that that's still real. And just like every day they continue to show like, yeah, the offense last year wasn't a fluke. It's a good offense. It may not be the best offense in baseball, but it is an upper tier offense that can win games with bats. And you're seeing it right now with this Cubs lineup.
It also feels like, and they haven't done it with the crazy part is they haven't done it with the home run. I know that I barked about how in the offseason they hadn't had a 30 home run guy. They haven't had a 40 home run guy since D. Lee. And they haven't done it with the home. And, the grand slam was the big hit in this game today. But really, the home run hasn't factored into it yet, right? And so it has been the on-base percentage and those things. And you hope when the weather warms up that the home run becomes part of it. Mm-hmm. Will Seya get his homers? Yeah. I'm not worried about Bellinger. He's going to get his home runs. Guys will hit home runs on this team, and they will come. But it's impressive to see that they're scoring these runs. They're now 7-4, and home runs really have almost been no factor for the Cubs. It feels like at all.
Weren't they one of the
8 runs yesterday, and it wasn't via the homer? So
weren't they one of the bottom teams? That was the stat that was on the broadcast of like runs scored by home run. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
yes, I think so.
Yeah, they showed that on the broadcast that it was like I don't know, like 5th lowest scoring or whatever by home run. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that was like for a team that's scoring as much as they are. Like that's obviously a good sign that they don't need the home run to string together those kind of to put together those kind of rallies and score as many runs as they are.
We're gonna be in studio tomorrow, and I think there's probably no better way to hit up a West Coast game than to hit up some Salernos. Does that sound like an idea?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? March Madness is over.
There's a whole Salerno's pizza in the fridge still at the office.
Not a fresh one. There's not enough. There's not enough for all three of us.
That said, I also Ryan witnessed there was like an entire styrofoam take home styrofoam thing.
Oh yeah.
That was in the fridge on top of the pizza, and it was just all buffalo wings. I totally brought it home last night.
Oh, yeah,
after the loss. After the loss, I was like, I'm going to go home and eat some of these.
Yours.
They were definitely from Salerno's. That's why I bring it up.
Hey, March Madness is over, but baseball's in full swing. I love to watch the games at Salerno's on tap, located at 1201 West Grand Avenue in Chicago. You can also call them for carry out and delivery. Now, pizza is their thing. I love the pizza, but don't sleep on those focaccia sandwiches. They are killer. And the chicken parmesan, oh, love a good chicken parm. If I'm going pizza there, I'm going Meat Lovers Pizza, the sausage, pepperoni, or bacon, or I do the build your own, which I might do tomorrow, which is now today. I call it the Bob, or the sausage, onion, bacon, the SOB. The SOB, the sausage, onion, bacon. And when you're there or when you're calling in, mention CHGO and get half off your pizza. Call 312-666-3444 or go to salernospizza.com for more information. Listen, that pizza is everybody likes pizza in Chicago. I don't know anybody that doesn't like pizza. Salerno's hits right. I used to live right over by that one on Grand, and it was just way too close. Couldn't help
Every
myself.
time we get it to come in the office, there's a reason for me to come in the office early.
Yeah.
It's that good, man. You
know what I like to have on the side next to it? I have my pizza, my chicken parm from Salerno's, and then
bacon.
Yeah, just a plate full of bacon. Charlie the Bacon Guy, based out of Woodridge, Illinois, making craft bacon and bacon jams in over 35 different flavors, naturally cured, preservative-free products. There aren't any ingredients that Charlie can't pronounce himself involved in the process, unlike most store-bought bacon. Vacuum sealed, freezes perfectly. Bacon lasts in the package for up to 60 days in the fridge, 1 week after the seal is broken, 9 months in the freezer. Bacon jam lasts 90 days in the fridge, up to a year in the freezer. But if you're keeping your bacon in the freezer that long, you're not living right. You're doing it wrong. The bacon jam goes perfectly on anything. Put it on scrambled eggs this morning, maybe toast, with or without jelly, crackers, burgers, grilled cheese, charcuterie boards. There you go. Cinnamon rolls, pizza, and Charlie's favorite, the good old-fashioned spoon. I got to tell you, the cinnamon rolls thing I didn't expect, but when he came into the office and he threw some on a cinnamon roll, I said, you are a genius, sir. The Bacon Vault, all flavors he's made in the past, but if it's not currently available for you, give Charlie about 2 weeks and he will make it for you. How's that for customer service? And awesome merch too. Beanies, hats, t-shirts, stickers, coffee mugs. I love all the flavors. Ranch, rosemary, vanilla bourbon. New item, Canadian bacon, everybody. Get on that. And the bacon jam flavors, I love the original, the bourbon, and the cherry jalapeno. Starting now, you could save 10% on your order at charliethebaconguy.com when you use the code, this is important, CHGO Cubs. Don't use the other teams. CHGO Cubs at checkout, 10% off your order. You can pick it up, which is the most efficient way for you, or you can have it delivered. He'll meet you halfway. He'll even ship it. He makes the bacon so you can bring it home, baby. That's Charlie the Bacon Guy on Instagram and on Twitter. It's at CZ the Bacon Guy. Check out his website, charliethebaconguy.com. Man, that bacon and that pizza. Now I'm starving. It's 12:45 in the morning. I'm starving.
Yeah, so. I might have to hit up Charlie. I got a question for you guys. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing it in the chat, and I'm not quite getting it myself. Does Dansby look lost at the plate to you?
No.
No.
He's off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean he was 0 for 4 today, and like that's probably my fault because I picked him for who you got. So I jinxed him because I can't win two games in a row. I just can't do it, like for whatever reason. But like you look at his baseball savant page, like everything's red except for whiff and strikeout rate, like which we know Dansby as a hitter, like that's not ever going to be like that great. But like all that's red. He's still walking at a 13.3% clip, and he got OPS almost 900 right now. Like
he's hitting fastballs at a really good rate right now.
Yeah, so like I don't get that. Like he doesn't. It's not even that he just doesn't look lost. He looks like he's swinging the bat well to me. Like so, I don't.
He had a triple last night. Should have been a home. It was almost a homer.
Yeah, so I'm like I don't know if it's just completely from this game that people are saying that he looks lost, but like I don't see it myself.
Well, people are also like still worried about Nico, and I feel like Nico was robbed of a few hits tonight. Like he hit a couple of lines. Like, he hit a liner towards the first base side, and of course, right to a glove. And then Garrett Cooper hits basically the same type of ball, and it somehow got through. Like I think his BABIP is not, or I think it's
You got it.
too low or too. I don't know how to read BABIP, but all I know is that it's not a normal number. So like
Nico's?
Yeah, Nico's.
Yeah, 167 is very, very low.
Yeah,
for BABIP. Like that's when you're talking about like a lot of times those like 300 would be more average-ish. Like 167 is incredibly low for a BABIP.
So so are you saying that he's been incredibly unlucky, or
strictly by BABIP purposes? Like you would expect that to be closer to 300.
Okay, I always get confused with that metric, so I just wanted to clarify. But I mean, I just don't. There's not anyone in this lineup right now, offensively, that I'm worried about, which is so wild to me. Even Jan Gomes, he's the one who gave him the lead tonight. You know,
Gary picked him for who you got.
He did.
You know, he wants a point. He's not going to get it tonight, but you know, he
and
did have a hit and a homer.
And even Amaya yesterday, or in the few games that he's played, I think Amaya's had good at bats too. I mean, there's no one. I mean, I guess maybe Bellinger's kind of off to a slow start. Like he's had some fun moments because of the people chanting his name. And I looked at his slash line tonight. It's not great, but like, who cares? Like he has been great defensively. And when the rest of the offense is playing well, like it's fine. Are we expecting him to be like this all season? Like, I don't buy that when he has this chip on his shoulder to perhaps get a long-term deal if he opts out this year. You know, like I just think that we're all like just so used to what he did last year. And I'm not saying that that's a fluke. I'm saying that some guys start off really well and some guys don't. And even and when I'm talking about Bellinger, he's also had big moments driving in runs. So it's like he's probably the only one to me that has not necessarily been consistent. You know what I mean? Like his at bats tonight were not great.
So why is Ryan giving us a strobe effect down there? The lights on, lights off, lights on. What's happening?
Because I'm looking at looking at something, and some of them have dark pages. Like I'm flipping tabs, and some of them have dark pages. So it's
okay. All right.
No, but Cody's talking about Bellinger, and like the numbers haven't looked great, but I'm not worried about it because for like we talked about earlier, as far as the whole offense, like his strikeout rate's solidly below league average, walk rate's solidly above league average. Like so the approach is still good, and I think his BABIP numbers and that kind of stuff are kind of lower than you'd imagine too. I wouldn't be worried about Cody Bellinger. We know the kind of hitter he can be. It's just like, you know, and this is something that whether it's hitting coaches, managers, they all talk about. And Craig Counsell has said this a couple days ago, like when they were still home, that like you would love a scenario where all 9 of your hitters, like your entire lineup is just everything's clicking. 1 through 9, everyone's on a good stretch. You don't get that in baseball. Someone's going to be struggling. Someone's going to have a down week. Someone's going to go through a little slump. It's going to happen. And so like if Nico is not getting the results right now, not, those seeing what Nico's done the last couple of years, like you expect that to turn. Bellinger may not be getting all the best results right now, maybe getting a little bit unlucky. You're seeing some of the underlying stuff, like you're probably expecting that to turn. So just because the guys aren't getting the results all at the same time, it doesn't mean that stuff's not going to change. And, when we talk about how, Seya and Morel and some of these other guys are doing so well, like them going through a slump in the near future, like that wouldn't be out of the question either, because that's just baseball.
Right.
That stuff happens. You're not going to have everyone 1 through 9 on fire at the same time. But if you can have enough guys doing that, if you can have more guys doing that than aren't, then you're putting yourself in a really good spot to win games. So for Bellinger, for Nico, like not worried about that. I do expect them to start to figure it out or to find the results relatively soon. Like, and I'm not worried about those 2 guys.
I saw that our guy Matt Peck was in the chat earlier, hanging out after a Bulls game today. Shout out to Peck and Big Dave for fighting through that season constantly. I see the live YouTube chat is asking at 12:50 in the morning that they say we should be taking phone calls, and that would be lit, Robbie says. But then you'd only be able to give us, I can read as many comments as I want. So I might have 5 Robbie comments that I want to read, but I'm not going to take 5 of your phone calls in 1 hour. This is actually better for getting to know what you really want to ask and say, right?
Yeah.
Because they can just keep asking questions. This chat and Cubs Twitter, there were some people wanting Almonte DFA'd. A couple days ago, they were like, get it. This is why we shouldn't overreact to 11 games.
Especially with relievers.
Yes, especially relievers. Okay, he had a bad game. He wasn't great at the beginning. Now he's the circle of trust. He's like, did you say that, Cody? It's true. I was thinking the same thing on Twitter. Like he's moving up. He's moving up that ladder. I don't know who's up there. Probably Leiter's near the top, and I still think ALLCITY's near the top, and Almonte's moving up. He's creeping up a little bit. He's creeping up, and I hope that later today, when the Cubs face Dylan Cease, I hope that Kyle Hendricks starts to do the same thing. All the people that are saying Kyle Hendricks is washed, which they've been doing for like 3 years, I would like to see him go toe-to-toe with Dylan Cease tomorrow, which that's what I want is Hendricks to go pitch for pitch with Dylan Cease tomorrow.
All I know is that beginning of CHGO Cubs, one of the more exciting moments of the 2022 season was the Kyle Hendricks like almost complete game in San Diego. Yeah. So, listen,
was it 8 2/3, right?
Yeah, something like that. He came out because of pitch count or something like that. Whatever. He's due for a good start, and I feel people like are just ignoring the fact that he pitched against the Rangers and the Dodgers, but okay. This Padres lineup is no joke either. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. The Cubs desperately need him to at least give him 5 tomorrow. I'm at this point in his career, I'm always asking for 5 innings, 3 earned.
And Tyler still hates Almonte, it looks like. I'm not saying he's going to be a spectacular reliever this inning. I'm just saying, hold on. We're 11 games into the season. It hasn't been just tonight. So like his last 2 outings now have been.
Go watch him on good. Colorado. No pitcher's ever been good in Colorado because it's freaking Coors Field.
Yeah, it's Coors Field. That's tough.
I think what I want people to do is just give the guy some credit because after that bad outing against the Rockies, with those terrible weather conditions, he's been pretty good in the last 3 appearances he's pretty had. Good.
What is?
And I think you just got to give a guy credit. Like that's all I ever ask is to give people credit. Like give people credit for when they do well because it goes back to like this weird thing with fandom. The first impression just kind of overtakes everything. It doesn't matter how good Almonte will be the rest of the year. People will always remember that appearance against the Rockies in fucking 20-degree weather or whatever it was in rain. He was awful. He almost blew the lead. So whenever he has another bad outing in like, I don't know, August after having a bunch of good ones, people will be like, oh, this guy sucks. Why didn't we DFA this guy? We should have done this months ago. And it's like, well, did you just ignore the last like handful of outings? All I'm
it's
saying.
What Merriweather went through. It's what in this chat went through with Merriweather. It took Merriweather a long time to get past the first outing he had. That was
just give the guy credit because he did it against the Dodgers and he did it against the Padres now. I don't like it's a few good appearances and you want to see him continue to do it because this bullpen obviously is not only taxed, but it needs guys to step up. The guy was part of a big trade. Like people want to DFA the guy. The guy was part of the Bush and Ferris trade. If you're DFAing a reliever that came in that trade, you're literally banking on Bush to be a guy. Or I don't care if Almonte was perhaps a throw-in or not. To me, you want to get as much as you can out of Almonte and Michael Bush, man. Like, what are we? I don't get that. I understand it with Quas because he has been bad, but when it comes to Almonte, I just don't get it. I really don't, considering the trade that he was a part of. So, anyway,
I know this is what we do here. We overreact. It is okay.
And to be fair,
that's what happens when you do a daily show, right?
And at 12:56 in the morning, overreaction is more likely than unlikely.
And to be fair, we started the show with me saying Morel, if he keeps this up, he could be MVP. Like I get it. Like on the positive side, sure, okay. I tweeted last night at 2 a.m. that like when I'm wrong, I will let y'all know. And when I'm right, I ain't going to shut up about it. Like I'm fair. Okay. I give people credit when they're right. And I give myself credit when I'm right. And I say when I'm wrong. Like, so I just wish more people would do it because people just want to shift their narrative to whatever fits their agenda.
Shift.
Yeah. They want to shift their narrative to whatever fits their narrative. It's like it's okay if you're wrong. No one gives a shit, brother.
Oh, there it is. So
anyway, people. I feel like some people want Hendricks to suck so they can continue to come in our chat and say that he sucks. They don't want him to do well tomorrow. Like it doesn't make sense to me. Like people would rather be right about their take than watch the Cubs be good. Some people, legitimately.
Yeah, I mean, if you go on Cubs Twitter, I think there's a lot of those people there. No, it's I think when we're like not overreacting is also balanced out by like not underreacting too. Like when things are like we can use Quas as an example, right? Like some of the stuff that we're seeing now is some of the stuff that we saw last year. I'm like, yeah, he did have good outings last year, but he also had those outings where he couldn't find the control. Like some pitches were flying to the backstop, right? Like it's not. For him, it's not like this is just like a couple appearances this year, and it's very early. Like there is some signs of things that we saw last year. Some of the stuff he has when he's on, I think is good, and it could be useful in his bullpen. But for him, it's about being more consistently good with that kind of stuff and the control, like having more control consistently, all that kind of stuff. So like to I don't think it's like saying overreacting about a guy like Quas just because we did get to see him last year and some of the same things were happening. So it's just like at this point of the season, overreacting, underreacting, like you're trying to stay in the middle of that kind of stuff. And
sure. Yeah.
And so but I mean, like it's fair. It's fair to, especially as fans, like we see it in our chat all the time. Like there are a lot of overreactions for sure, which some of them are fair for sure. But, I do think it's also important that like we keeping in mind that it is 11 games in the season and things are going really like for the offense, things are going really well. That doesn't mean they're always going to be going really well. Yeah. So which is where other parts of the team have to pick things up.
So far, the only guy on this roster that everyone has been completely right about at this point, except for me, and then you guys, because I don't think you guys really had a take about him, but no one liked Jose Quas coming into the season. So as far as the YouTube chat, largely no one. And they have, at this point, have been pretty correct because he has not been good. All right. So credit to everyone on that.
Can't fix everybody. We'll see. But
11 games.
11 games in, I'm not going to dump him. I saw that Wisdom had a nice game for Iowa. Patrick Wisdom, nice game down in Iowa today. I saw Keegan Thompson now 3 straight scoreless outings when he's come in. That's good. So if you're looking for an arm that might come up and help that bullpen, maybe Keegan Thompson's that guy. He might get a shot here before it's all said and done. The mayor, real mayor of Chicago, will you please step up? His name is still Keegan Thompson.
One of the all-time
should we do who you got? Sure. I want to shout out to Phil. He wants me to
yeah,
chat.
Phil, I too will shout out to Phil. He's been cracking me up. Well done, Phil.
Becky's here. A lot of people still. I can't see how many people are on right now.
Yeah,
but it feels like a lot.
Before we get to who you got,
I can see
now officially 1 a.m.
192 according to
192 at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Best.
You sick people.
Credit to you sickos.
You bunch of sickos still with us at 1:01 in the morning.
But before we get to who you got, related to the guys in Iowa, I am really interested to how they're going to fit Patrick Wisdom on this roster. Like I assume Master Boney is going to go back to Iowa, but like I still don't know how they're going to get Patrick Wisdom playing time. Now I understand like slumps happen, like Ryan talked about earlier, but like I still don't know how you're getting him in the lineup right now with how well Cooper has kind of played in his role, and Counsell showing that he likes to use the DH like in a different way than I think a lot of people figured he would. With whether it's Seya or Hap getting a DH day every now and then and putting Morel at third. They'll put Morel at DH probably tomorrow. because Kyle Hendricks is pitching, they'll probably start Madrigal. Like I have no idea how they're going to use Wisdom. I really don't. But I think if you ask me what I think they will do, like I'm just spitballing here, DH/first base. And it would be on days probably against lefties because that's the only time that Bush isn't playing is against lefties. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, he may not come up right away. Like I think from what we've heard, I think it's still kind of like even next week would be like, or maybe like this weekend would be like the earliest or something like that. Like they're still like this is what his second rehab game, third maybe today. So like there's still some time for that, and as we've seen already multiple times in the first 11 games, like injuries happen. So you can't know. I mean, I will say, and this is something we've talked about a lot, that I do still think that Wisdom has a place on this team or just in a major league lineup or a major league team in general because of the kind of power that he brings. It's not an everyday thing. It's obviously a little bit more matchup based and who the pitcher is on the mound, that kind of stuff. Who needs an off day here and there, like whatever it is. But I still look at it as like he has a role on this team because I mean, I would even say I don't know if Morel has the kind of power or provides the kind of power that Wisdom has, just the raw power. Like Morel is obviously more consistent with things, but Wisdom has the kind of power that you would want on the bench. I'm with Cody in that, like with Cooper on the team, just kind of how the roster is constructed, it does feel like it might be a little harder to fit at bats in for him. So he may not even come up right away when he is ready.
But Counsell gets the big bucks.
Yeah, like keeping him around, to me, especially when you saw what he did in the second half last year, like there's a place for that on this team. Not starting every day, but there is a place for that on the team.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to who you got because we're now at 1:04 in the morning, and I am begging for Kyle Hendricks and Dylan Cease in a pitcher's duel 1-0 game, 1 hour, 59 minutes tomorrow. That's what I'm begging for. Well, not tomorrow, today. Excuse me. Later today, I'm hoping for a 1-0, less than 2 hour game. Cease, Hendricks, pitcher's duel. Now, today, we had some good performances. Obviously, if you could pick a pitcher, Ben Brown would be deserving of being in the conversation. Gary Ross, who I don't think is on the chat anymore, he was in there this morning or this afternoon, and he took Jan Gomes. Credit to him. Gomes had a pretty good game. My guy had 3 hits and a walk. Is that right? 3 hits and a walk?
I don't know if he walked, but I do know he had 3 hits.
Yeah. 3 hits, but the grand slam steals it.
Yeah, I think Cody's pretty clearly the winner for today.
No, we just got to figure out to add them all up.
And the defense again. He made a routine play tonight, and he had a great tag on the Bellinger, throwing out the guy at third.
If all things were close, if my guy would have gone, if Seya would have gone 5 for 5,
okay,
and Morel had a grand slam, now we would have had a conversation. But I think your trump card might have been the tag, maybe.
And I only bring up the routine play at third because people legitimately think he can't play third base literally at all. That's how low the bar is. So we're talking about consecutive days here. We're talking 3 straight days where Morel hasn't had any mess ups at third base. So I'm just saying.
Hey,
that jinxed
there you
that.
go.
Here we go.
Yeah,
well, tomorrow Madrigal will definitely be at third. I will be absolutely shocked if Madrigal is not at third tomorrow with Kyle Hendricks pitching. I will be shocked. So,
hey, thanks to everybody in the live YouTube chat that was hanging out with us. It was a 5-1 win. It was fun to talk about, but we're now officially 1:06 a.m. in the morning Central Time. I saw some people in the live YouTube chat are watching it on the East Coast. They're 2:06 in the morning.
Yeah, Brendan said it was too late in California and he's going to bed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he couldn't make a heat map for us.
Shout out to our guy Gerard, though. Shout out to Gerard. He tweeted at us before the game. He was at the game tonight.
Gerard was?
Oh,
Yeah,
shout out Gerard.
He's like sent us super chats and he tweets at us all the time. He's always in the chat. He's a good dude. Shout out to Gerard.
Shout out Gerard.
I'm happy you brought home the win. They won.
So
That means you got to go back tomorrow.
That's
They're
right.
1-0 when you attend. You have to go tomorrow.
We should send
Or
him
today.
in your place on road games.
Yeah.
To keep the streak going.
There you go. I like it. Oh, they're
Mitch-
back in Arizona. Gerard, get on a
Gerard, it's
plane,
not that
brother.
far away. It's not
Get
that
on a
far away.
plane, brother. Because I am never going back to Chase Field again. Never again.
And hey, and if there's, whenever they play Arizona, you got to stay at Matthew Gregory's house and hang out at the pool like with Greg Braggs.
God damn it, Braggs.
Please hit the like button on the way out. It is now officially 1:07 in the morning, and we are shutting down this podcast. Cody may be in the Discord for another 3 hours, but I will be sound asleep at that point.
No, I'm going to sleep. I got to get up early to go walk a dog that lives at Corey's house.
Yep. Now you have responsibilities.
Yeah. Well, I had to do the same thing last night too. I didn't go to bed until like 3 a.m., man.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. Cubs win 5-1. Back at it tomorrow. Hendricks against Cease will be here after the game for a full hour in studio. Hope you'll join us. Until then, thanks for watching and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.